Greetings.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good
Hello.
evening.
Welcome to our summer Bible study where we're featuring some of this, some of that. And we have with us this evening Dr. Kendria Cartledge. She is a practicing optometrist here in Columbia and a part of First Nazareth. She's a part of the healthcare ministry. And we're so grateful to have you with us tonight, Dr. Cartledge. And we're anxious to hear what you're going to share with us this evening.
All right.
Present to you. I have with me Reverend Lillian Scott,
God
uh,
bless you.
and we bring you greetings. Those who are in our online with us tonight, and recognizing our pastor, Reverend Dr. Blakely N. Scott, and our First Lady, Sister Mary B. Scott. So I'm going to turn things now over into the hands of our facilitator for this evening, Dr. Cartledge, and welcome.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for having me here today. Again, as Reverend Reese mentioned, I'm Dr. Kendria Cartledge. I'm an optometrist here. I have my own private practice in Columbia Vista Vision. In addition, I'm also a health educator as well as a certified health coach. So tonight I have some tips that I'd love to share with you all, just to keep you safe this summer while you're out and about, whatever it is that you may be doing. Definitely want to make sure that you are safe and prepared and have those proper tools so that you can enjoy those activities and still can carry on with the regular activities of day life after completing those activities safely. So let me get my slideshow up. How do you There we go, view slideshow. All righty. All right, so you should be able to see my screen there again. Again, I'm just here today to prevent on some summer safety tips. So we'll go ahead and get started. So just what are your plans for the summer? It could be vacationing at the beach, camping, enjoying the pool, grilling, shooting fireworks, or whatever it may be. We want you to be able to do these things safely. So I'm just going to give you a couple of tips for each of these scenarios, and I have other suggestions and strategies, tips to help you in other situations as well. So if you want to take notes or if you want to screenshot some information that I have here, please feel free. At the end, I will have some resources that are available as well to help keep you safe this summer. So we'll go ahead and get started. So first, we'll focus on water safety. Just to kind of start out with a few facts. Every day, an average of 11 people die in the U.S. from unintentional drowning, and 1 in 5 of those are children 14 or younger, according to the CDC. Sadly, African American children aged 5 to 19 fatally drown in swimming pools at rates of 5.5 times higher than their Caucasian peers. So to keep yourself safe while you're at the water, of course, you don't want to have no unsupervised access to the water. That means if there's not an adult out there, kids do not need to be in that area. If you are adult and you're out there by yourself, you should not be out there by yourself. At least you want to go in pairs, just so in case something happens while you're in the water, you want someone to be there to kind of assess the situation. So always want to make sure that you swim in an area with a lifeguard. If there's no lifeguard available, you want to have what we call a water watcher. So what's a water watcher? It's a person that's their sole job is to watch everybody that is in and around the water, to make sure that they're safe, make sure no accidents happen, make sure that nobody's underwater for those extended periods of time. If the water watcher needs to leave or go do something else, at that time, then you need to establish a new water watcher. So at every point in time that you're around that water, you want to have somebody, what we call a water watcher, making sure their eyes are open and seeing everything that's going on at all times. So if you're in a pool, or out in the ocean, there's what you call reach or throw, don't go. So as you know, you want to grab something that's available. If you can reach it, reach out to them and they can grab onto that item, or if you can throw a buoy in, and that way you don't have to go in the water, because going in the water puts yourself at risk for becoming a drowning victim as well. So main thing while you're thinking about water safety, you want to learn how to swim. That is a key thing to know. If you're going to be in and about the water, definitely want to make sure you keep yourself safe as well as your family. In addition to learning how to swim, you also want to make sure you learn CPR and first aid. And me and my staff, we just got first CPR certified as well as first aid certified today. So we're all good to go for the summer and any other time throughout the year. So when you're around the water, it only takes a moment for something to happen. You could look away at your phone, go back in the house to check something if you're cooking, go get something off the kitchen. It only takes a moment for an accident to happen. So just want to keep eyes and ears open at all times, just to make sure you're practicing that good water safety. A resource that is available is the Red Cross Swim app. If you go to the Google Store or the Apple Store, you can download that app and it'll give you good information to learn about techniques and skills in regards to swimming. And feel free, if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat and I'll try to answer them as we go. So when you're at the beach, and I know if you saw the news or heard anything about it yesterday, there was that lightning strike over at Lake Murray. A couple of 18 people or so were injured. And I also heard a story about a gentleman in Florida that was on his honeymoon and he was in ankle deep water and lightning was in the area and he got struck and unfortunately he did not survive. So definitely want to be very careful and safe when we're at the beach. As soon as you see that first sign of thunder or lightning, you need to make your exit to get out of the water. Even though it may be far away, we still need to leave that area, and you don't want to come back into the area until at least 30 minutes or so after that last lightning or thunder that you saw. So definitely want to exit the water as soon as possible, as soon as you see that first sign of thunder or lightning. Definitely is recommended to swim in an area with a lifeguard and obey their orders and instructions. You want to pay attention to those beach warning flags. They're not just out there for fun. They're colorful and all that, but they have very good information in regards to them. The colors indicate what's going on for that particular day in the water. If there's a green flag, of course, as anytime you're out there, you make sure you want to swim with caution anytime you're out there at the water. But with the green flag, there's a low hazard of something, the waves being rough and there's calm conditions out there, but still want to make sure you exercise caution. If there's that yellow flag, kind of like that red light, there's a medium hazard out there. You can have moderate surf and or currents. So still want to exercise caution, swim within your means, don't go past where your comfort level is. If there's that one red flag, that indicates that there's a high hazard, high surf, or strong currents. Definitely want to exercise caution. Definitely don't want to go past where you're comfortable with your swim levels. And then if there's that double flag out there, that means the beach is closed to the public and you should not be in those waters. So definitely want to heed those warnings. They're there to keep you safe as well. Anytime you're out at the beach, in particular children, poor swimmers, and boaters, definitely want to make sure we're wearing that properly fitting life vest. Make sure that it's tied tightly and it's around both shoulders while you're out there at the beach. In any water situations, pool, beach, whatever, want to protect your neck. Make sure you don't just dive in because you never know what's below. Definitely don't want to have any neck injuries as a result of diving head first into that pool. I know a lot of people may hear about rip currents. So if you get caught in a rip current, stay calm and don't fight it. On the next screen, I'll explain it more what a rip current is. But you want to swim parallel to the current until you're out of it, and then turn and swim to the shore. Also, you want to make sure to draw attention to yourself by waving and calling for help. So here's just a illustration of a rip current, and you can see a rip current is where water flows away from the shore, and these are strong currents that'll catch you off guard. You don't know they're coming, and it can quickly sweep even the strongest swimmer out to sea. So what happens again, as I mentioned, you want to swim out of the current. So you can either swim parallel to the shore and then as you get out of that current, that strong, what's your water, you can start to swim back to the shore. All right, so if you have an interest in camping, here's some tips that'll keep you safe while you're camping. Definitely need to know the level of the ability of the people with you. So you don't want to do anything too strenuous. If you have certain individuals that may not be able to do these certain tasks while you're out camping, and you just want to know the lay of the land, know the environment that you're working with, so you can be best prepared. Definitely want to make sure you have a first aid kit as you go out into the wilderness. Want to make sure that you're prepared for any insect stings, sprains, bruises, and cuts. Before you go camping, definitely need to share those travel plans with someone and your location with family or friends. That way, if something happens and you don't come back at that set time, they know to go looking for you and they know exactly where you may have been because you shared that vital information with them. And make sure, of course, as we've all been talking, stay hydrated, bring enough liquids for the duration of your camping trip. And also want to make sure to have enough supplies such as food, water, and lightweight clothing. There's another resource that is available, which is that Red Cross First Aid app. It has key safety and first aid information that you can put to use until help arrives, or you can get to a situation to get seen by a doctor. All right, so if you're planning to have a picnic or cookout this summer, here's some tips to help keep you safe, excuse me. You want to wash your hands, wash your utensils and workstation before you prepare any foods. You want to make sure that you keep your uncooked meats away from those ready-to-eat foods, such as your salads, your fruits, and things of that nature. Again, you want to use separate tools for the meats as well as separate tools for different food items and the plates to prevent cross-contamination. And that's where you just pick up one disease germ from one item and you continue to pass it along to other items if you don't use those separate utensils. If there's no hand washing facilities or stations available, want to make sure you have that hand sanitizer prior to cooking on the grill, picnic, anything like that, or eating your food. And while you're grilling, want to make sure to have that meat thermometer to make sure that the meats are cooked to that proper temperature to make sure that no one gets sick from having this fun event. If you're on the grill, here's some grilling safety tips. Definitely want to make sure that someone is always supervising the grill when in use. Never grill in your house, a camper, a tent, or an enclosed area. Definitely can be dangerous, cause a fire if we're grilling in those areas. Keep people and pets away from the grill. Again, keep the grill in the open, away from the house or branches that can cause a fire. And then the chef needs to use those long handle tools that are made specifically for cooking on the grill to avoid getting burned. And then you don't want to leave perishable foods out in the sun for those extended periods of time for bacteria to grow. Mm-hmm. All right, so a lot of kids will probably be out this summer riding their bikes. So these are just a few tips to make sure that they're staying safe. Definitely want to make sure they have on a helmet. You can also put on them some knee pads, elbow pads, things of that nature, just to keep them safe in the event that they fall off the bike. Want to make sure that the tires are properly inflated. Want to check your brakes because definitely want to make sure that as we get going that we're able to stop. And when you're riding, avoid riding at night. You want to use the hand signals to indicate that you're turning. Also recommend riding, if you're in a group, riding in a single file line. Want to check the road as you're riding along, look for road hazards, any obstructions or any potholes or things like that. Want to be aware of those. And then watch out for the other cars on the road. Stay out of their blind spots, Definitely want to make sure that we don't get hit while we're out there having fun on that bicycle. So as far as walking and jogging, and I know a lot of the congregation does that because we did a lot of walking. People did a lot of steps with the steps challenge that we had. So just to keep yourself safe while you're either walking or jogging out there in the community, want to pace yourself. It's very hot outside right now. So definitely want to pace yourself and try to avoid running at the peak times of the day. Want to try to either run in the early morning or later in the evening. Want to make sure you have those proper shoes, running or walking shoes. That definitely can make sure to help avoid an injury. You want to walk or jog against the traffic. Wearing headphones is a common practice, but it's very dangerous because it interferes with your awareness of what's going on around you. You can't hear people that may be trying to talk to you, or if your car is trying to blow at you, you can't hear. I know I do wear my headphones when I walk out in the community, but I have the AirPods, so I only have one AirPod in, so I'm able to hear with my other ear. Also, you ladies particularly want to make sure that you're letting somebody know that you're going out walking, where you're going walking, things of that nature. And then after you've done your exercise, walking, jogging for the time period, just want to make sure you finish out with the cool down and then make sure you're properly hydrated after your exercise. As far as mosquitoes and ticks, want to make sure that we use that insect repellent that contains DEET. That's going to have the best protection to keep you safe from getting bitten by anything. Consider staying indoors when most mosquitoes are most active, and those times of the day are at dusk and dawn. Yep. Want to wear long sleeve shirts and pants if you're going to be out there for extended periods of time. And also want to try to tuck the shirt into your pants or tuck your pants into your socks. That way those mosquitoes won't be able to have access to either biting you on the back or the ankles, things like that. If you're in a field, hiking or in a field, you want to stay in the middle of the trail. You don't want to go out on the edges where all the brush is, and that can just kick up bugs and insects and things of that nature. So want to try to just stay directly in the middle of the path if you're out walking or hiking in the field. Check yourself for bites after you've been outside for those extended periods of time. Want to properly assess your body, and if you need to put any anti-itch creams and things of that nature on, want to go ahead and do that. And then also make sure to eliminate those mosquito breeding sites around the home. So if you have any containers or pots or anything, or a pool that's just sitting there, want to make sure that's not just sitting there with water, because that can become a mosquito breeding ground and attract more mosquitoes to your area. There's also the candles that you can light that have the materials or ingredients to keep those mosquitoes away from you as well. All right, so 4th of July is coming up. We know we like to shoot fireworks around that time. The easiest, the safest way to enjoy fireworks is leave it to the professional.
Safest thing, yes.
Yes, but if you must, do it at home. Here's some tips to kind of help keep you safe. So want to pick a location that's away from buildings and trees. Don't want to catch anything on fire. Never want to give fireworks to small kids. They may think it's fun, but they can easily burn themselves, get injured very quickly. So definitely want to keep the fireworks out of the small kids' hands. Never want to point fireworks towards people or buildings. That could definitely be dangerous. Spectators that are watching should definitely remain far away from those fireworks. You want to have water or fire extinguisher on hand in case something goes awry and you're able to put that fire out safely. The person wearing fireworks should always wear eye protection and only light one firework at a time. I know people will go out there and still a line of them up. Let's try to avoid that, light one firework at a time so we don't have any mishaps. And then if you light one and it doesn't go off, just go on to the next one. Don't relight that one again because it could go off as you're going back up there. Those are some fireworks safety tips for you. And let's not forget about the pets. I know a lot of you may have pets, so let's help keep those pets safe as well. Don't leave your pets in your vehicle, not even for a few minutes.
Mm.
Dogs can get a heat stroke, which will manifest the signs of heavy panting, a fast pulse rate, and being unable to get up. If you suspect a heat stroke in your pet, try to cool them down immediately and take them to the veterinarian. And then there's also insect repellent that you can purchase for different breeds of animals to keep them safe from those mosquito and tick bites that we talked about earlier. A resource available for that is the Red Cross Pet First Aid app, and that'll have different tips and instruction to help you keep your pet safe until you can get them to the veterinarian. So let's go into sunburn. Anybody can get sunburn if you're exposed to the sun for too long a period of time. I know we tend to think that African Americans can't get sunburn, but it is possible. So definitely want to make sure you're putting on that sunscreen when you're going outside for those extended periods of time. You want to avoid the peak hours of the day, which is typically 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's where the sun's going to be at the highest, and that's where you're going to have that highest risk of getting sunburn. Want to find shady spots to enjoy that'll keep you out of the sun and decrease your risk from sun exposure. Want to wear sunglasses. Want to protect your eyes. You can also get sunburn on your eyes. So definitely want to make sure we're wearing those sunglasses to keep our eyes safe so we don't have any damage in regards to our eyes. You want to wear a hat, a light jacket or long sleeves if possible if you're going to be out there for the extended periods of time. And in regards to sunscreen, again, want to make sure we're putting on that sunscreen if we're outdoors for that extended periods of time. You want to find that sunscreen that's SPF 30 plus. So anything 30 plus is great. You want to place that sunscreen on all exposed areas of your body, including the ears, your back, your neck, your arms, your legs, the top of the feet, anywhere there's skin available with exposure to that sun, it's at risk of getting burned. So please place some sunscreen there. You definitely want to make sure you apply it at least 15 to 30 minutes prior to going out into the sun. And you want to reapply it every 2 hours or more frequently if swimming or sweating. And then there is also lip balm that is sold in stores that is also have sunscreen protection in it as well. So definitely want to make sure that we don't get our skin burned by practicing these tools here. Being out and exposed to the heat for those extended periods of time can cause heat stroke. So if you're out in the sun too long, you can overheat and develop heat stroke. And heat stroke is definitely a medical emergency. So to avoid heat stroke, you want to stay in the shade, drink plenty of water, use a fan, and if you're able to go inside to the AC when possible, please do so. If you start to experience any symptoms of headache, confusion, dizziness, slurred speech, or nausea, someone needs to contact EMS or right away, call 911. Again, as I said, heat stroke is a medical emergency and it needs to be treated ASAP. So as far as dehydration, dehydration is just not getting enough fluids into the body. So during the summer months, the average person should drink about 10 cups of water per day. No, it sounds like a lot, but we need to be drinking something and on a consistent basis, and it shouldn't be anything that's sugary, alcoholic, things like that, because that'll definitely cause you to be further dehydrated. So want to make sure we're getting that water in our system. So signs of dehydration include lightheadedness, headaches, and I see Minister Scott drinking some water now. Signs of dehydration include lightheadedness, headaches, dry mouth and eyes, constipation, as well as concentrated urination. And concentrated urination is just going to be appearing dark in color. So if we have any of those signs going on, we definitely, to avoid the dehydration, we want to make sure that we carry a reusable water bottle. So I take my water bottle, fill it up every morning before I leave the house, and I'm drinking on that throughout the day as I go. Again, as I said, want to make sure we avoid those sugary drinks and alcohol. If you don't prefer water, you can add fruit to it, to the water. They also have some of the little flavor packets that you can add to it as well to make it more appealing. But we definitely need to be trying to get these 10 cups of water in per day. And they definitely need to offer children and older adults water during the day. They tend to be the ones that are less likely to drink water. So just want to try to give them at periodic times throughout the day to make sure they're staying hydrated as well. All right. So putting on my optometry hat here for a second, sun glare. Your eyes are a precious gift. And again, as I mentioned, your eyes can get sunburned, what we call a keratitis. So definitely want to make sure we're protecting those eyes from the sun. So how do we protect our eyes from the sun? We want to wear those polarized sunglasses, which is going to block all distortions or anything like that. So you can see clearly. You want to wear a hat, and you want to sit in shady areas or use an umbrella for protection from the sun.
Dr. Cartledge, we have a question from KP Hegg. She's asking about the water section. Is there a such thing as drinking too much water initially after you are dehydrated? Someone said it can make your brain swell.
I am not 100% sure about that. But I know drinking too much water, again, can be harmful. But it's recommended 10 cups of water per day. But you want to at least start to drink some water until you no longer start to feel lightheaded, your mouth isn't dry and things like that. That urine starts to go to a lighter color there.
Okay.
But each person on average is supposed to be 10 cups per day, but everybody has a different body size, things like that, medical conditions going on. So definitely want to consult with the doctor in regards to it specifically for you, how much water you should be drinking. That's a good question. All right, so we did sun glare. So we'll go through heat dangers during pregnancy. Pregnant women who have a body temperature above 102.2 are at greater risk for heat stroke, heat exhaustion, and dehydration. So dehydration for pregnant women can cause those fake contractions, the practice contractions, what are known as Braxton Hicks. You can have increased dizziness and fainting spells, and definitely having a fall as a pregnant woman is definitely not good. So definitely want to make sure we're hydrated so we avoid any of these situations that can put ourselves or the baby at risk. Overheating while you're pregnant can cause cell death or interfere with certain proteins involved in the development of your fetus. Pregnant women that feel dehydrated, and this is kind of something that I've been saying all along, move to a cooler place, sip water. If you're able to apply wet cloths to the skin, or sit in a cool tub until you start to feel better, and then also loosen those clothes. If you experience any vomiting or these symptoms worsen or last longer than an hour, definitely want to make sure you seek treatment ASAP.
Dr. Cartledge, Hazel,
Yes, ma'am.
but what beverages should I know we're saying that we should stay hydrated, drinking water. So it seems that water is the thing that we need to be drinking more of during these hot periods.
Yes,
Because there are some beverages that can cause you to dehydrate.
correct. Yeah, we definitely
Okay.
want to try to be drinking mostly water. I mean, here and there having a soda or some other drink is okay, but we want to make sure the majority of our liquid is coming from water throughout the day, because those sugary drinks, alcohol, they can cause dehydration. So they can kind of, even though you might, oh, I'm drinking something, it can kind of actually work in reverse.
Yeah, and what effect does caffeine? You're saying, lots of people what they can't live without the coffee. They gotta have the coffee. So how does caffeine affects your hydration of being hydrated or dehydrated?
Okay, so the caffeine per se. It would cause some dehydration. Definitely if you're putting a lot of sugar in that coffee, things of that nature, that would definitely cause some dehydration for you. So if you want to drink coffee, try not to put a whole bunch of sugar, at least not drink coffee the whole day long, and that'll be the only thing that you're drinking.
Okay.
'Cause,
Okay.
of course, too much caffeine for anybody can cause ill effects, not just related to hydration.
Hmm.
Okay.
In moderation.
Yes, everything in moderation, correct?
Okay. And you
Yes,
you when you talked about swimming and the watcher and the lifeguard are swimming in areas, lots of people have pools in their
mm-hmm.
backyard. So what advice would you give parents with children when it comes to the pools in the backyard, maybe making sure they're enclosed with a gate or something like this, because little children are notorious for wandering out and getting into stuff that they don't have any rights to.
Correct. Want to make sure that that pool is locked up. So that small children can't have access to it. Again, if you're out there, again, you do want to designate that water watcher. If the parent has to leave or go inside, even if they just saying it's going to be for a minute or a second, it only takes a second for something to happen. So bring that child in with you, even though they may complain about having to get out. It's better safe than sorry. Bring that child in with you, or if you don't have that, and you want to make sure you have that water watcher that's there at all times, keeping an eye and assessing the situation.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. And then to kind of wrap out the presentation, I have a few resources that are available here if they may benefit anybody that's listening today. So the City of Columbia has a program called Fan the Heat program. It provides fan or air conditioners for City of Columbia residents. You must be 55 years or older. You must give them your name, address, phone number, so that they can make sure that that fan is properly delivered to you. Some exceptions that they have, if you have respiratory problems or a major illness, you can provide a doctor's note, and they will go ahead and give you a fan as well. Or if you have families with young children, they'll give you a fan or air conditioner. So I have the information there. If anybody is in need of that fits this criteria and is in need of a fan or air conditioner, want to contact the City of Columbia's Police Department, telephone response unit. The number there is 803-545-3991, or you can also call 803-545-3992. Or you can also contact the Community Services Bureau at 803-545-3986. Other cities do have it. I saw that Lexington County was doing it. They were doing it last year. I didn't see any updated information in regards to this year, but they still may be doing it as well. So different police departments are offering some sort of assistance to individuals that need these fans or air conditioners. Definitely want to check and see if that's available in your area if you don't live in the City of Columbia. There's also Operation Heat Engagement and Assistance Time. So this is for anybody that is experiencing homelessness or being unhoused. This program runs through Labor Day at the Transitions Homeless Shelter, which is located at 2025 Main Street. And you can have access to water, ice, shade, air conditioning, showers, and meals while this program is running through Labor Day. A few other resources here. There are misting stations that have been installed at local parks in the Midlands. They're open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. through 6 p.m., free of charge. I'm not going to read all the lists there, but if you want to take a screenshot or take a picture of it with your phone, those are all the locations that are available for you to seek some relief from this heat wave that we're in right now. And they are open and running, currently closed today, but they'll open up again tomorrow at 10 a.m. and run to 6 p.m. Some other apps that I mentioned earlier in the presentation from the Red Cross, there's that swim app, there's the first aid app, and the pet first aid app, which can also help keep you safe. They also have, I think they have the CPR app as well, and help keep you safe and keep you aware of what to do during that emergency. There's the OSHA, NIOSHA Heat Safety Tool app. This is the app that you can go again to the Google Store, Apple Store, download it, and you can use it to plan your outdoor activities. It has real-time information of the heat index specific to your location. You just go in there and type in your area code, and it'll tell you the heat index at that specific time, so you can know what it'll be, the heat index will be for the entire day. That way you can plan your day accordingly. They also have within that app those precautionary recommendations for heat index risk levels and provide signs and symptoms and first aid for those heat-related illnesses.
Do
And
they
I
offer?
believe, yep.
Oh, I was just going to ask if they offered anything with the weather, along with the heat index.
I believe it does offer weather information on that same app as well. But there's a lot of apps out there that doesn't have to be this one in particular, but there are a lot of apps out there that do have that heat safety tool. And if you have your phone, it also has the Google or the Apple weather. It has all that information in there. You can click on it in there as well if you don't have any more space like me on your phone to download any more apps. So yeah, you can find all that on your phone as well. But that was just a few resources and tips that I have to share with you all to just make sure that you're safe while you're enjoying all those summer activities. If anybody has any further questions, I'll be more than happy to try to answer them to the best of my abilities. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing.
I would just like to say also, Richland County Sheriff Department have a program for seniors where they do a wellness check. And if you're interested in that, they will send a deputy around several times during the week to check on the seniors to see if they're okay. And I think they have that fan and air conditioner program as well. Last year I think they had it. But that's another resource that you can kind of check out. But it's a good program in that there are a lot of seniors at home, and sometimes the families are away, they're working or whatever, and they don't know, and something could happen during the mornings, and they're there all day. Yeah. So, but I do know Richland County Sheriff Department. You can check with the sheriff department. Also, would like to say that if you have we're going through a hurricane season and whatever now, and if you're without water, check with your county council person. That's for your area. They will make sure you can get some water. I remember last year when we were without lights for several days, Sheriff Lott, they contacted Sheriff Lott, and Sheriff Lott made sure our neighborhood was hydrated throughout that period. I think it was in September when that happened. And I would just like to tell families, as you're going through these family reunions and things, and kids are notorious for wanting to play, make sure you check on those children. I was involved with a family reunion this weekend and I was telling them, those kids are steadily running around that field and it's hot. So you might want to, you can kind of not have that problem if you kind of keep them inside. And then walking around the malls rather than outside is a good walking tool. I do it a lot right now myself. But thank you. This has been a very informative session for me.
Thank
Awesome,
you so
awesome.
much. Thanks, Dr. Cartledge, and we appreciate having you on. I feel
You're
pretty
welcome.
fortunate. I feel like all of us are pretty fortunate to have so many resources in the city, as well as right here at First Nazareth with you, and y'all's diligent work, worthy work, with the healthcare ministry, always, being active and informative and willing to help us to stay in shape and stay fit and get our nutrition right. And of course, in the summertime heat that we are facing in South Carolina, especially what they used to call us famously hot in Columbia. So we thank you so much for your time. I learned a lot and was reminded of a lot. I did not know you can get sunburn on your eyes, but of course you wouldn't know that. So we definitely have to be careful and make sure we have our shades and things on and what do you call it? The sunblock for our skin, and be careful at the beach and make sure you don't do things alone. We see a lot of things in the media about people swimming by themselves and going camping, but that's in real life, it's always good to have a companion and someone that can help us and look out for us with our safety. So much appreciation to you.
You're
And
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for
very
having me.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
And don't forget about the Durham event that's happening Saturday. I believe it's 10 to 2 on Blueberry Hill. So we can learn more about maybe CPR and some of the emergency first responding agencies that we have right here in the city too. So thank y'all for joining us, and looking forward to see you on a Sunday soon.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good evening. Thank you again.
Thank you all.